This isn't a full-on review or anything professional like that. This is just going to be thoughts. I know my recent Stop Hating on Destiny got a lot of heat. um, the clarification on that is every time I streamed, it was just non-stop. This game's trash. This game's shit. This game's boring, etc. But whenever I challenged those comments, they were never able to fucking respond to them with anything justifiable, essentially. But anyway, this isn't that. This is more my thoughts on everything. Given the fact that we've had the campaign, I've played it for a good amount of time. We've had the raid. I didn't participate in the raid, but I did watch it, and I know all the issues with that. And we're on week 2, so on week 2, fresh reset, and I've got some thoughts. So to clarify, campaign-wise, I really liked Edge of Fate. I think I thought the cutscenes were cool. I thought the level designs were cool. I thought Kepler's really cool. The dialogue wasn't as cringy as it usually is. Sometimes it can be a little bit too, I don't know, it's just a bit cringe. I thought graphically, again, looks really, really pretty. I think they've upgraded their engine, I think. I'm not sure, but it looks really, really pretty. The guns, the armour, starting from 10 power, I liked all that. The bosses, I like the bosses. Issues with the campaign I have were, I feel like it could be a little bit, I had a few questions with it on stream, a little bit confusing at some points when you were actually doing a main mission or not. So essentially what they done was, you'd have your main mission for Edge of Fate, and then it would tell you to go do 2 other side quests to then do the main mission. So I think there was some confusion as to what people were actually doing, and I do get that, and I get the confusion behind it. I'm not sure why they done that. I think it would have just been easier just to leave it as one mission, go, done. Excuse me. Other personal issue I have is we turned into a ball just a bit too much. Metamorph, didn't really have a problem with that. I thought that was fine. Excuse me. But yeah, the ball, I just feel like there was no, I get why it's there, because again, story-wise, dark matter, etc., I get it. And then we were also shown it, right? We were shown that we were going to turn into a ball. So it's only fair that we turn into a ball when we play it in, you know, for ourselves, right? But I do feel there was just no need to use it as much as they did. I think every single level we turned into that ball at least 4 times. I just think there was no need for that, personally. Again, I don't have an issue with it to the point where I'm like, oh my god, it ruined everything. It didn't ruin the campaign for me. It was just a bit like, ugh. Okay, fine, I'll do it, because I know once I've done it, I can then go shoot aliens again. Sick, cool. But yeah, I just think too much on the ball. The ball does get better when you level it up. So once you complete the campaign on, well, not the whole campaign, but when you do a few missions on Fabled, it restores your health, reloads your weapons, and also applies Jolt. So when you're on Kepler, it does a few additional things, which is pretty cool. But yeah, the ball, when they announced the DLC, I wasn't a big fan of it. I said it multiple times. I don't want to turn into a ball. I don't care. But again, it's not at the point where it's ruined the whole thing for me. So other than that, campaign for me, fine. Don't have a problem with it. I really liked, in terms of the rest of the DLC, I liked how many side quests we got. I like the fact that there's so many secrets on Kepler. There's the exotic, I think it's intrinsics for the hand cannon, Graviton Spike, that are dotted around the map. You have to use the weapon to like shoot these plants, and they stop some sort of electrical current, whether it's a fan or something, and then you go and unlock the catalyst that way. I think that's pretty cool, because it doesn't tell you to do that. That's something you have to find out on your own. I like the sieve. I like the sieve. Only problem I have with Deceive is it's not active enough, and I don't get why. So yeah, I don't see why it's not active, just like all the time, or it has like a cooldown of like 15-20 minutes. I also, they keep doing this. I also don't like how Kepler isn't a what's the word? No other Guardian is there, right? Unless you have like friends. It's like the final shape, the Pale Heart. It's a solo patrol zone, and I personally don't like that. I liked it when you could go to IO and there'd be like 20 other Guardians just mincing about there, and it was like sick, cool. You all jump into a public event, you all do it, bish bash bosh, done. Now I do somewhat understand with Deceive, if you had like 30 people jumping in, obviously it's going to be done well quick. However, have that as a select mission match made, 3 Guardians done. I feel like as a patrol zone, it would be cool again just to see other Guardians running around. Personally, that's what I like. But yeah, Kepler as a destination, fine. Thumbs up from me. I like it. I think it looks cool. I think the skybox at the end is insane because you can like turn around and see, again, spoiler, you can see the whole of Kepler behind you. It's crazy how big it actually is. So again, it's like a 4-tier level planet, which is double decent in my opinion. In terms of what I don't like I say, no other Guardians. I feel like it makes, if you're a solo player, it makes the experience a little bit lonely, I suppose. Whereas if you saw other Guardians running around, it's quite cool. I think the Sieve rewards can be a little bit damp. I feel like doing the whole thing, you get your exotic via class. So for Titan, you get the arms. If you do the whole thing, and you get 2 items basically, and I think I don't know. I think that's just a bit greedy. Not greedy, selfish. Sorry, it's a bit selfish. I feel like, you know, the event itself takes what, like 15-20 minutes. I feel like there should be more drops than that personally. So Edge of Fate in whole, in terms of its own little like Kepler story, etc. No issues from me. No issues from me. What I will say, now that we're on week 2 and we've had a reset, we've had the and you know, I've had time to go around and do other stuff, etc. Now, in terms of the portal, I don't mind. I don't mind the portal. I think it's all right. My issue is this. So this section is called Fire Team. So team up with fellow Guardians to defend the last city and reclaim soul from humanity's adversaries. I don't know if I've said that word right. If I haven't, I'm sorry. So matchmaking on, matchmaking on, matchmaking on. You scroll down, and then it's not on. Why isn't this on? Why isn't it really matchmaking here on any of this? Why? I don't know if I'm missing something. Like, I get that there's like preset stuff, but for this stuff, why isn't there matchmaking? You know, why have I got to click on it to then find a fire team who want to do it, or I do it on my own? Why if you're offering the bare minimum as a C reward, why not have that match made? I don't get that. So yeah, that's one issue I have with this. I'm not sure why there's like preset stuff, but yeah, just not overly keen on that. And then we go on to this. I didn't even know this existed until earlier. So I went on here and I clicked challenge and I was like, oh, there's stuff on the left. And I was like, alright. And then I clicked on the middle bit and there's this stuff. I had no idea this was here. Like, no idea. Now, I've done this and actually really, the rewards were double decent. So you got 3 tier 3 items. So weapon, armor, which is pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat. Took like 10-15 minutes. Cool. Decent. Now, first of all, loadout restricted. you have to use new weapons and armor. You can't go in using old stuff, which I get, fair enough. But why can't I do it more than once? Like, the game knows that I'm not 240 yet, so I can't do this one. Look at the rewards. 3 tiers. Then that goes up to 4. Then that's 5 tiers once you get to 400. But once you get to, 390, you get, like, why can't I do this more than once at the level I'm at? Why? Or like 3 times or twice. I feel like, again, what I feel like Bungie are doing are just withholding loot in a way. I feel like they're not allowing people to fully do everything and get all the loot from every section. So I feel like that is why people are. Oh wow, okay. So since I've streamed, it's gone. So Encore's been deleted again. Now look, my view on Encore as a thing is, yes, it was the most efficient way to get you to the highest level. However, it wasn't the only way, and everyone was treating it as it was the only option when it wasn't. Anything in this portal will level you up. So while I appreciate everyone spent hours doing Encore, it wasn't the only way to level you up. And that's as simple as that, really. So there's loads of other things to get you there. There's Crucible. I mean, look, you get 3 bonus drops on that, which is quite nice if you're a good player as well. But yeah, solo. I like the solo stuff. It's 5-10 minute stuff. Again, not enough of it though. Like there's 6 levels. Like it's just not enough. But yeah, in terms of the portal, I see what they're doing. They added Onslaught as well, but it's like we could have, played Onslaught last week. So, and also, it's not here anymore. So, I can't attune my Hammerhead. I can't attune anything like that. So, that's a bit annoying. Other thing I don't really like is so Vanguard, Gambit, and Crucible don't have, so their vendors don't have level up bars anymore. I don't know why that is. I just genuinely don't know why that is. Yeah, I don't get that. Again, that's more loot that has been taken from us, right? So with vendors, you could get prisms, cores, weapons. Like there's no seasonal weapon. Like last season, we had a fusion rifle, I think it was. Where's that then? So yeah, I'm not really sure on that, if I'm honest. In terms of the portal to summarise, I like it. I just want it a bit more fleshed out. I just want more stuff in it. Like, why isn't there anything to do with Gambit in here, you know? Like, there's everything else but no Gambit. Why not? Gambit's still a playable mode. Why has it just been left to again, just fester? So yeah, that's a bit disappointing. So yeah, if I were to suggest any improvements, I would say put a Gambit section here. I would also say get some matchmaking on these, because again, these aren't things that you can solo. Maybe the Empire hunts you can solo, but not the offensive Savathun Spire or the Inverted Spire or Onslaught. You can't solo. Well, you probably could, but it'll take ages. 30 waves of Onslaught on your own. How boring. So yeah, get more preset match-made things, because again, 3 is not enough in my opinion. So yeah, they need to bump that up. Have more match-made activities, I feel like, because again, it's the fire team section. Why isn't it fucking already match-made? I don't get that. And then the pinnacle stuff. Again, I get it with Encore. We can't have exotic missions in this bit. If it were me, I would put some dungeons in here. Maybe a raid. maybe a Nightfall as well, because again, Pinnacle is essentially the hardest stuff, the most rewarding stuff, best loot, etc. So I feel like get some, get a dungeon in there, for example, get Warlord's Ruin, and just replace the loot with loot you get from here, like the pulse rifle, the grenade launcher, there's 2 grenade launchers, and the Bushido armor. Why not just have this armor replace the existing armor in the dungeon, if that makes sense? I feel like that would be a good way of us playing old stuff to help us level up. Now, I get that not everybody wants to play old stuff. I get that. But in argument of that, all we've ever said is we don't want stuff taken away. And Bungie aren't doing that. They're keeping old stuff and bringing old stuff back. Like we got the what's it called? They're bringing it back next week. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a circuit thing, so you keep going around getting loot. I can't remember what it was called for the life of me. It was in Season of the Wish. The coil. So they're bringing back the coil, which I like. I really like the coil. I think it's clean, easy way of just killing loads of enemies, getting loot, etc. Again, the loot has to be decent though. This is where I think they're getting a bit. They're really withholding it. Again, after 2 weeks of playing, I feel like I'm in a good position to give some proper feedback instead of just saying it's shit, right? So when you do a exotic mission at a tier A reward from the Pinnacle, you get checkpoints throughout those missions. Especially on Encore, you get 3 checkpoints, I think it is. So you get 3 loot drops before the final one. They're all useless, really, if you're already stronger than what they drop at. So they all drop at 200 power. They're all no tiers to them. So it is just wasted stuff. That's the bit I don't get. Why would we? It just seems a bit pointless to me for that bit. I feel like that loot, again, we're going through the whole mission. That loot needs to be worthwhile, right? But it's only up until the end where you get it. So again, I feel like they're just being a bit selfish with the loot. I would like to see more loot dropping. I've just spent 45 minutes doing an onslaught, and again, 3 tier 2 drops, and it's just not really rewarding after the amount of time you've put in. And none of them helped me level up either. So again, they all dropped that below my power. They were all dropping at like 219. So see, 219. Yeah, I've got 233 weapon. So yeah, I'm not really understanding it properly yet. But I do have to say, it's very, very Destiny 1-esque. Now, I don't know how many people were here when Destiny 1 was first released, but Destiny 1 was very hard. Like to level up, to be powerful. It was a tough game, very tough, especially when Vault of Glass launched. Again, if you were there, Destiny 1, you'll know what I'm on about. Yeah, it was a very difficult game. Like to level up bits of armor, it wasn't just cores and glimmer and maybe some prisms. It was, you had to have planetary consumables. You had to have like Spirit Bloom, and it wasn't just like this. You'd have like 6 different circles to level up, and that'd be the same for your weapons. So your weapon just wouldn't be here ready like that. Imagine these were greyed out. You'd essentially level your weapon up, and then you'd have to spend stuff on it to level it up. So I do feel like they are maybe teetering a little bit towards that. But what I will say is I've spoken to a lot of people who've played this game, and a lot of people have said that they don't like it when Bungie hands stuff out. And I think that's been feedback for a while, where players will start, like Heresy for example, right at 9. Bungie are like, come back, and they put everyone at 2020 power. But we've just spent X amount of time working our way to that point, so it is like a stab in the back a little bit. So they've not done that. I feel like if you want to get strong and you want to get powerful in this game, you have to work for it. Now, I've not grinded Encore non-stop like everyone, well, not everyone else, but most people. I've not done that. I've just done the portal activities. I've done the campaign on Fabled. I've explored Kepler. I've done all the side quests on Kepler. I've done the portal every day, 1 or 2 things on there. I've done a bit of Crucible here and there as well to get that going. And then I've done some solo ops. So I've essentially done all of these things here to get to where I am now. Yeah, it may have taken longer, but I feel like mixing everything up is the best way to play Destiny, right? I feel like if you're just sticking to one thing over and over and over again, it's not going to put your mindset in the best place and you're going to be fucking losing your marbles, essentially. So I would strongly suggest that if you are struggling to get high power, I would just go to the portal and load up Fireteam, and I would just do one of these, whatever you can do. Because again, you're gonna level up. You will. It's a simple fact. Anything here will level you up easy. Try and do stuff with more than one reward, so you get the bonus drop there, and then you get the boots, and a completion reward. So you should get 3 things at the end of that. So yeah, I would definitely recommend doing stuff with these little icons on it. It just makes sense. But yeah, to summarise, I feel like as an expansion as a whole, it's like a bigger reset. I think that's how everyone's viewing it. And I get why people are upset, and I get why people aren't really looking forward to 6 months' time when we're pushed back down to 200 again. But what I will say is that's the point of the game, right? The game is to grind for the best stuff, etc. And this armor system isn't going away anywhere. The weapon system isn't going away anywhere. The tiers aren't going away. So, you know, I guess it won't be as hard as a reset as before. Because when it does get reset, I'm assuming that we'll still have tier 5 gear if you have it at that point, right? So I feel like as a whole so far, again, 2 weeks in, we've got the coil coming back, we've got arms, whatever it's called, coming back. Well, not coming back, but coming. We've got Solstice of Heroes coming as well, so that would be good. I'm hoping they'll do a new activity for that, because again, running around that same place can get a little bit repetitive. But I don't think the DLC is that bad. Again, I know it's all opinionated, and if you do have an opinion on it, that's fine. If you do offer feedback on it or criticism, then just make sure that you know you can back up your argument. I feel like Destiny, Bungie at the moment are just getting shit on non-stop, and I do feel bad. You know, they work hard on this game, and you know they try and make it so everyone enjoys it. And I will say that content creators have fed back. You know, they played the game, they fed back, the people made the changes. So it's like, okay, well, if the content creators have made the changes or recommended the changes, yet they're still moaning about it, it's like, well, did Bungie really listen? Did the content creators even provide feedback? You know, it's just a bit weird. And then finally the raid. So again, I didn't participate in it. I was meant to, but the in-laws came round, so. But I did watch. I watched. I didn't think. I loaded into it just to have a run around, and I always do, even if I don't have a team. I'll always load into it, run around, get a feel of it, check out the skybox, check out the environment, and then I'll leave. What I will say is I really liked how it was open world-esque, right? You could do any encounter you liked first. I thought that was cool. Second thing, I know I'm not a big streamer or anything like that. Anyone blacking out your screen in a raid race Wild. I feel like Bungie need to put a stop to that, because A, people are watching that, but they're not watching anything. They're just watching someone's fucking window, or they're legitimately just watching a black screen. There's no face cam. Sometimes there's no audio, so people are legitimately just watching a black screen. And considering these people get paid to stream, I feel like that's unfair on the viewer and the consumer, right? They're sitting there watching ads. They'll pay for the ads. They'll then buy a subscription to skip the ads, but they're not actually seeing any gameplay. So I don't feel like that's fair whatsoever. So yeah, Bungie need to sort something out about that. And it's also not fair on the people who do share their screen. I get that there's like scouts or whatever, but I mean, just grow up. But yes, the raid itself. When I loaded in, I did get to an encounter, and I saw the red skulls, and I knew for a fact that was incorrect straight away, because I was, what was I, 200 power I think, or 2 something. I was above 200, so I was definitely you know, it shouldn't be skulls, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Yet the whole raid was like that for everyone else, so the difficulty was just fucked. Really, they really bodged the numbers. They really bodged the whole thing. So yeah, fair play to anyone who went through that whole raid race on contest mode and done it. Fair play, because fuck that. Now, seeing the raid exotic, seeing the armor, seeing the other weapons, will I do it? Probably not. I'm more a dungeon guy. The raid exotic doesn't really appeal to me. It's not a Vex Mythoclast. It's not a conditional finality. It's not a 1k voices. It's just a rocket launcher. Again, doesn't really appeal to me. And also the damage that people were doing in that raid was wild. I think that was, excuse me, I can't remember who I watched, but someone in their team got together and they all used New Land Beyond and got it to like 30 ticks on the counter. So with New Land Beyond, essentially, if you get crit shots or crit kills, it builds up a thing called the Master, and future crit shots do more damage. The boss's health literally went down by like 2. I swear. It's, yeah, I mean, the whole raid thing was just cracked, to be fair. So again, fair play to anyone who done it. Now, I think the raid looked cool. I just feel like, again, final boss wise, like a machine. Do you know what I mean? Like the other bosses were at least more like enemy like. So you had like a hobgoblin, a minotaur, and a hydra, I think. Why didn't we get something a bit different like Atheon in this, or I don't know. I just feel like the raid boss is a bit wet looking. But yeah, other than that, those are my thoughts on this so far. I see why everyone has a problem with this in terms of like the power grind, etc. But I will say that I do prefer it being, again personally, I do prefer it being a little bit more difficult than previous years. Again, with Heresy, everything was really straightforward, really easy to level up. I feel like Edge of Fate, everything's a lot more difficult, a lot more grindy, and I feel like they have taken more stuff away, and then they're slowly going to drip feed it back in. Now, while I understand why they're doing that, I don't agree with it. I feel like the game before the expansion should remain as it is. You're adding to the game, you're adding the expansion, so I don't think you should take away and then put stuff back into it. In terms of like Onslaught, they took out Onslaught even though it was playable for the whole of last week on another mode, and then they got rid of it, put it in the Portal. So yeah, in terms of what I would want, in terms of what would make it better for me, I would like a Gambit mode in here, in the Portal. Because again, I really like Gambit. I know a lot of people don't, but I personally really enjoy it. I would also think that in the pinnacle section, a dungeon or the raid or whatever is weekly. So you know, you get like a weekly. Well, we used to. I don't know if there's any more, but you get like a weekly raid, a weekly exotic mission, and a weekly dungeon. I feel like they need to be in here as well. So whether it's like Grasp and then Vogue and then whatever the mission, and then in terms of other pinnacle stuff, again, I don't feel like it should be past exotic missions. I feel like it should be something different. Maybe Nightfalls. Maybe again, like I say, maybe a really really difficult dungeon. Maybe a time limit on a dungeon. Maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. The other thing I will say that I do like is this. The fact this is weekly, I really like it. I think this is good. I like this little rewards thing here, and I like that these reset daily. Again, in terms of weekly things as well, cool, good, love it. But yeah, I like this little reward pass here. 20 levels, you get good shit. I also like this. Strange coins can just be found within the portal. Like I always struggled to get strange coins, because I never played the ritual stuff because I didn't see a point. The strange coins are so much easier to get. Ciphers 4. I've never had more than 2. The other thing I will ask, if anyone can help me with this, I would appreciate it. What's happened to Artifice Exotics? So essentially, we were able to get an extra mod slot on our exotics once we masterwork them. Where are they gone? I don't know if I'm being dumb, but I haven't masterworked this just yet. But from previous exotics that are masterworked, there's nothing here. So I don't know. If someone can help, I'd appreciate that. But yeah, other than that, I like all the stats. I like the weapons. I like the armor. I like the hard reset. I've been enjoying it. Few things I didn't like, of course, like I mentioned in the video. So yeah, I get everyone's frustration. I just think that we need to be. I know it's not our job, but this is a game that I like playing, and if you like playing it, then we need to feed it back in the correct way. Essentially, is all I'm saying. So I personally think to improve the portal, put a Gambit thing in there for people that like Gambit, like me. I would also suggest putting the weekly dungeon and raid in there as well. And then maybe even add in some additional challenges to the dungeon for that week. So again, you know how we can customize a mission, so we can add like debuffs and buffs. Maybe do that for a dungeon. I don't know if you can or not. I mean, I'm just going to check now in case I'm talking absolute drip. Customize. Okay, so you can. So that's how you get Artifice Armor Legendary. Right, okay. Okay, so every dungeon is minus 10 power. And Vogue is the... Okay. So they are... Okay. So essentially, my point still stands. I feel like to improve the weekly raid and the weekly dungeon, give it the same customization options as the missions we've got in the portal. So add some debuffs, add some buffs, add equipment lock. You know, put it in the portal. Why not? What, like, they're bringing back old stuff like the coil and some of the battlegrounds from previous DLCs. Why not go all out and put a dungeon in the pinnacle bit? Like, I think that would work wonders. Have the exotic mission of the day there. I feel like these need to be daily. I think they are, so that's fine. So your exotic daily mission to get some pinnacle stuff. You then got your dungeon. You've then got your raid. And then in terms of maybe a Nightfall, maybe a Grandmaster Nightfall, and then maybe just, I don't know, something else here. Maybe another exotic mission. I don't know. But yeah, in terms of dungeons, I feel like that'd be a good idea because again, it gives those dungeons replayability. You know, set yourself new challenges, get better loot, etc. So yeah, I hope they add that in the future. I think that's a good idea. Add that customization option to the dungeons. But anyway, I'm gonna stop waffling. I know I've waffled for like 25-30 minutes. If you have watched it, then cool. I appreciate that. I'm still going to be doing builds for the Titans. We've got an Arc one and a Solar one out at the minute. I'm going to try and get a Prismatic one out, or maybe a Void one out, or maybe even another Solar one. I'm sort of playing with a Solar one at the minute that I quite like. But yeah, we're close to 4K subscribers, so I'd appreciate it if you can subscribe if you haven't. Come join the Discord as well. I'd appreciate that. We've almost got 100 people in there, so that'd be pretty cool if we can get some more in there. We gave away an Edge of Fate DLC code not too long ago. You know, if we can get to 4K, maybe 100 people in Discord. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another one. Who knows? But until then, thank you very much for watching. I'll be live later tonight, so if you want to come by and say hello or share your thoughts on the video if you have watched it, then I'd appreciate that. These aren't scripted, these are all off the cuff, just how I'm feeling in the moment, because I feel like that's where I'm most honest. In terms of other people's opinions, feelings, etc. I don't mean to upset anyone or cause any issues with what I'm saying. I know that on my Stop Hating Destiny thing I may have upset people, so whatever. It wasn't there for that. It was just to stick up for a game that I've been playing for a decade, and I don't want to see God, because I think we can all make this game shine with feeding back the correct way. Bungie aren't going to listen to shit feedback, essentially, or etc. Right? So I don't feel like the DLC is bad. I don't feel like the launch is bad. I feel like there's a few things that I would tinker to improve it. But in terms of like being too hard or the grind's too long, etc., I feel like that's what a lot of people were asking for, and I feel like now they've got it, they're now saying it's too hard. So I might be missing something there, but I'm not sure. But it's very Destiny 1-esque. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. But anyway, on that note, peace out.